Water is the most important thing for life. People need water to drink, cook, and clean. But water is not always easy to find. Sometimes it is deep under the ground. Long ago, people learned how to dig holes to find this water. These holes are called wells. The story of wells is very old. It goes back thousands of years. The first people who made wells lived in very dry places. They needed water, but there were no rivers or lakes nearby. So they started digging down into the earth. They used simple tools like sticks and stones. It was very hard work, but they found water deep underground. One of the oldest wells in the world is in Cyprus. People made this well about 9,000 years ago. That is older than the pyramids in Egypt. The well is still there today. You can visit it and see how people lived so long ago. It is amazing that something so old still works. In ancient times, wells were very important for cities. People built their towns near wells. If a place had good wells, many people wanted to live there. If the wells dried up, people had to leave. Wells decided where cities grew and where they died. The ancient Romans were very good at making wells. They dug deep wells and used special machines to bring water up. Some Roman wells were so deep that they went down 100 meters or more. That is like a 30-story building going down into the ground. The Romans also built beautiful covers for their wells. Some of these covers had pictures and decorations on them. There is a funny story about a Roman well. One day, a rich man dropped his gold ring into a well. He was very sad because the ring was expensive. He offered money to anyone who could get his ring back. Many people tried, but the well was too deep. Finally, a smart boy had an idea. He caught many fish and put them in the well. The fish ate smaller fish that lived in the well. When people pulled up the big fish, they found the gold ring inside one fish's stomach. The boy got the reward money. In the Middle Ages, wells became even more important. Every castle had wells inside. This was very smart because when enemies attacked the castle, people inside still had water to drink. Some castle wells were so deep that it took 10 minutes to drop a stone and hear it hit the water at the bottom. There is an interesting story about a castle well in Germany. The castle was under attack for many months. The people inside were hungry, but they still had water from their well. The enemies outside were getting tired of waiting. One day they had an idea. They put dead animals in the river that went underground to the castle well. Soon, the water in the castle became bad and the people got sick. They had to give up the castle. This shows how important clean water was for survival. In some places, people believed wells had magic powers. They thought spirits lived in wells. Before taking water, people said special words or left gifts by the well. Some people threw coins into wells and made wishes. This tradition is still popular today. Many people throw coins into fountains and wells for good luck. There is a famous well in Ireland called the Wishing Well of St. Patrick. People say if you throw a coin and make a wish, it will come true. But there is one rule: you must throw the coin with your eyes closed. If you open your eyes before the coin hits the water, your wish will not come true. Thousands of people visit this well every year to make wishes. Wells were also meeting places for communities. People came to get water and stayed to talk with neighbors. Young men and women often met at wells and fell in love. Many old stories and songs talk about romance at wells. In some cultures, getting water from the well was women's work. They walked to the well every day with big water jars. This was hard work, but it was also social time. Making wells was dangerous work. Sometimes the walls of the well fell down and hurt the diggers. Other times, people found bad air deep in the well that made them sick. Well diggers were brave people. They used ropes to go down into dark holes. They never knew what they would find down there. There is a strange story from China about a well digger. He was digging a new well for a village. When he got very deep, he found a door in the side of the well. Behind the door was a room full of gold and jewels. But there was also a sleeping dragon guarding the treasure. The man was scared and climbed back up quickly. He told the village chief about the treasure, but when they went back to look, the door was gone. Some people say the dragon moved the treasure to keep it safe. In desert areas, finding water was like finding gold. Travelers crossed hot deserts and looked for wells. If they found a well, they could continue their journey. If they didn't find water, they might die. Desert wells saved many lives. People who lived near desert wells became rich because travelers paid money for water. Some wells were very special because their water tasted different. People believed some well water could make you healthy or young again. Kings and queens sent servants to bring special water from famous wells. One well in France was so famous that people traveled for weeks just to drink its water. They believed it could cure sickness and make people live longer. Wells also appear in many fairy tales and stories. You probably know the story of Jack and Jill, who went up the hill to fetch water from a well. There are also stories about magic wells that can show the future or grant wishes. In one story, a poor girl looked into a magic well and saw her future husband. The next day, she met the same man she saw in the well. During wars, armies fought to control wells. The side that controlled the water often won the battle. Soldiers sometimes poisoned enemy wells to make them sick. Other times, they threw dirt into wells to make them useless. Protecting wells became as important as protecting castles. Technology for making wells got better over time. People invented new tools and machines. They learned how to make wells deeper and safer. They also learned how to clean dirty water and make it safe to drink. Today, we have electric pumps that bring water up from very deep wells. In modern times, many people still use wells for water. In some parts of the world, wells are the only way to get clean water. Engineers use special machines to dig wells much faster than people could do by hand. They can make wells hundreds of meters deep in just a few days. There are still many interesting wells around the world today. Some are very old and have become tourist attractions. Others are still working and providing water for communities. The next time you turn on a tap and water comes out, remember the amazing history of wells and how important they have been for human life.